What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Hello. Welcome to Hits and Heels. If you cannot hear me well, let me know because I've noticed that the sound has been crazy, and I think I've been using the wrong mic on my thing, and it hasn't been working well. Anyway, so welcome to Hits and Heels. My name is Coach Terri Bryant. This is Coach Bryant. We're both football coaches, and of course, we enjoyed the. Did we enjoy the Super Bowl this past weekend?
We enjoy the Super Bowl. I mean, I gotta do it first, and I won't bring it back up again. I gotta do it first. I mean, I was happy Seattle won, but
Me too. I was going for
I was
Seattle.
very disappointed in how they treated my team. I was
They
very
looked y'all.
disappointed. Very disappointed. They didn't have to do us like that. They didn't have to do us like that. And so, I guess it's got a big heart about Seattle, and we can't wait for it to come on. And but I'm gonna take it off. I'm not gonna bring it back, But y'all don't have to do us like that. I'm just saying, y'all don't have to do us like that.
So anyway, so today we have a guest. That actually she's been on before,
Yes.
so she's not new to Hits and Heels. What I love most about when she comes up is two of my most fondest memories of when Ty is playing was against Ole Miss. And so her son played Ole Miss, and the first time I got to meet a person was at Ole Miss, and we got the win there. And then this past season, Ty got
Now he was gone now.
yeah,
He was
yeah.
at
Her
Seattle,
son was gone. He was at Seattle,
beating the
beating
49ers.
up on the 49ers.
Yeah.
And then this year, Ty had 2 interceptions against Ole Miss. So we absolutely love talking about Ole Miss because it brings fond
Okay,
memories.
we're gonna bring her on, but I don't care about all that. I want to know about the growth. Oh my God.
The growth. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I think we talked about that the last time, but we're gonna bring it back. We're gonna refresh y'all's memory.
Yes.
But we're gonna go ahead and bring our guests on. And Tracey, thank you.
Y'all didn't see when I was holding up. When I was holding up the 49ers, I think her arm was broke because it turned and went like this. I don't know if that's spasms or what.
Just a little bit. Just a little.
That's how you doing?
I am. You know what? I'm still recovering from being on the West Coast. You know that time difference. It's still yeah. So I'm trying to stay up. So when you asked me to do this, I was like, you know what? I probably should do it so I can stay up at least another hour, so I can go to sleep the whole night because I was on the struggle bus this morning getting up for my 5 a.m. workout.
So your jet lag is kind of still there.
Yes, because I didn't go to sleep after the Super Bowl. It just ran into the after stuff. And then by the time the after stuff was done, I just went to the airport.
Okay.
Gotcha. So I mean, I don't even know where to start. Let's start. Do you want to start with the Super Bowl, or do you want to start in the beginning? Because your son, you guys are from Georgia, right?
Yes, we live about 45 minutes outside of Atlanta in Swanee.
Okay.
In
So
Gwinnett County.
let's start
at the beginning.
Let's start in the beginning so we can refresh everyone, and let's go with your son Jared's journey from however early you want to go and to the point where he's a Super Bowl champion.
Well, to start with, Jared only wanted to play baseball when he was little. That was the only sport, and he was always tall. And so when we would be at the rec parks, all the coaches would always come to the gate, to the fence, and be like, "Did Jared want to play football?" And I'm like, "No." He'd be like, "No," with his little voice, "No." And then after my late husband passed away in 2009, he decided he wanted to play football, and he played football and basketball. Those was his two sports that he played. So we ran right from football into basketball season, and then we went into travel basketball season. So it was always a season, something, doing something. And then he decided he was getting more offers in high school for football than basketball. If he probably grew about 2 more inches, he probably would have stopped playing football and just concentrated on basketball. But then he decided to go to Georgia Tech. And I think he decided to go to Georgia Tech so I can get to the games and he'd be closer to home. So we did Georgia Tech. And of course, when he graduated, it was 2020 pandemic. And those first 2 years were just strange. Especially that first year was just strange because only parents and staff. So there was no fans, it was just us, in the stands. And then at the end of his sophomore season, of course, in good Jared Ivey fashion, he waited till the week before the portal closed to decide to go into the portal and transfer. And Ole Miss was the first person. There was a lot of schools that, as soon as he went live, a lot of schools were, but Ole Miss got in there first and got us on a plane there. And they were like, okay, while you're on the plane, just go ahead and register, Jared, just in case. We got to Oxford. He loved it. He's like, okay, I'm going to stay. So there was a storm or something happening. So they actually had to get a driver to drive us back to Atlanta 5 hours. They drove us right back to Georgia Tech. I immediately packed everything I could pack in 3 suitcases. My sister met me there, and we tried to clean his room out as much as possible because that next morning he was on a plane to Ole Miss, already registered, going to start class. So he spent the next 3 years at Ole Miss and had a good time at Ole Miss. And, we won the Peach Bowl that year. He got MVP for, defensive player. He had a good game that year. And last year didn't pan out the way we wanted it. Well, I should say the year before didn't pan out the way we wanted it to pan out. But then he went into the draft. Then the draft didn't pan out the way we wanted to pan out. But like I always, everything happened the way it needed to happen. And it happened, and he ended up at Seattle. He called me. He's like, Mom, I think I'm gonna commit to Seattle. I'm gonna go to Seattle. I was like, okay. And then we had a connection in Seattle with CP, who was his defensive coordinator that got him that he had when he was at Ole Miss in 22. And, his wife called me and he's like, don't worry about it. We're going to take care of him. We got him. And I was like, okay. And, he's loved it. He's loved it there. And he's learning a lot. And then, last Wednesday when he called me, he's like, Mom, can you, did you take the days off of the Super Bowl? And I was like, no, we're going to just have a Super Bowl party here. He's like, well, no, I want you and Kirsten to come to the Super Bowl. And I was like, okay, are you sure? Okay. So we're on a plane. Yeah, he didn't. I just had to decide, okay, I had to get my jersey ready because I had my jersey early in the season because you already know as soon as I found out who's with the Seahawks, absolutely. I had to go in there and order my jersey, So now I got to go order a couple of other colors now, But it was fun. I don't think that the city of Santa Clara was really ready for the Super Bowl because their rideshare situation was probably the worst I've ever seen because we had to take a Uber back to the hotel, and there was literally probably about 1,500 to 2,000 people waiting for an Uber. And Uber sponsored the whole area, and it was bad. We ended up having to knock on the window of an Uber driver, and the cash I had, he got just to take us back to the hotel. But then after that, got there, I took some ibuprofen because I've been working out, but my back was like, Tracey, you've been standing up. You've been dancing with Bad Bunny, for the halftime show. You need to sit down somewhere. You need to sit down. And of course, my body's still 3 hours ahead. So it might be 7:30, but my body's like, girl, you should have your bonnet on. You should have your bonnet on, rubbing your feet together, in the bed. But once we got to the after party, we missed Ludacris, but I got to see T-Pain.
Okay.
So, I had to let the dance floor have it just a little bit.
A little bit.
And then it was time to go to the airport. I was like, okay, let's just get to the airport. From the airport, and I live about, an hour away from the airport. At that point, when I got in my car, I was like, I just want to be home. I just want to get home. But it was such a nice experience. Everybody was so lovely. I actually saw some neighbors that moved from our old neighborhood 18 years ago. She hit me up on Facebook and she said, hey, Carlo got tickets to go to Super Bowl. You're going to be there. And I was like, you better call me. So I'm literally we're in the concession area. And she's like, I don't see you. And I was like, my jacket has Ivy 51 on it. And all of a sudden I hear her husband. She's like, Jackie, she's right there. She got the jacket on. It's like so Italian. So it was so nice to see them. And then I got to see Pettis' mom, TJ. You know, her youngest son played at Ole Miss with Jared, and he transferred last year to, I think, Florida, the Seminoles. So, but her oldest son is a safety on the Patriots. So I got to give her a squeeze. So I was happy about that. You know, I got to see my Ole Miss peeps. So that made it nice too.
Oh my goodness! So, do you miss the Grove? And
I
when you're
do
going to
miss
visit
Grove.
Ole Miss, do they take you to the Grove first? But I guess it's not packed like a game day, but still.
No, it wasn't packed like that. But I think, but they feed you a lot. You know, when you go on these visits, it's like,
Oh, they feed you.
they're feeding you, and it's like, okay, now we're gonna have a snack, and now we're gonna have lunch. It's like we just ate. What do you mean? Have you tried Cane's? I was like, I don't eat any chicken. You know what I'm saying? It was constant eating. It's constant eating. Like, I mean, I think that was the only time I actually met Lane Kiffin and talked to him in person for about 10 minutes. After that, I never talked to the man for the next 3 years. That was it. That one visit.
Oh, wow.
But you really don't really talk to the head coaches a lot. You really talk to the position coaches and all that stuff. But yeah, it was. And the Grove is the Grove. The Grove is the Grove is the Grove.
Best
Okay.
hospitality ever.
Right. When we went down there and we're talking about her son when he played at Ole Miss, even after the victory, we're walking back and we're smiling.
We're like,
we're
oh
happy.
my God, we got to go to the
And
Grove.
one guy, I mean,
Yeah.
multiple was like, good win. Hey, is your cup empty? What? Yeah.
Ready to fill it up. Ready. They'll have a Jello shot ready for you. A Jello shot. Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
even
Because I used to tailgate with the oh, they're gonna hate me. Oh, Miss Nora, the real deal tailgating. And so I used to tailgate with them, and they know how to put on a nice little tailgate.
So my question is when you got in the NFL, your son's in the NFL and they're traveling, how many games, two-part question, how many games did you actually go to on the road? Because once you go to Seattle, that's home field, so you've been to the Torchman. And then the next part question is, if you can briefly, just the comparison of college and the NFL, being a parent.
Okay, so I went to the second preseason game because they have like a family week, right after summer stuff before the season starts. So I went to the second preseason game, and that was, I mean, just where Seattle is and where they practice, you look across the water and you see all the big Google houses. I mean, it's like perched like on this kind of, it looks like it's sitting on a cliff sort of. It's beautiful. And the weather was chef's kiss. The weather, it didn't rain until game day. Then it rained on game day. I had to put my hat on, but I didn't mind. It didn't come down, but it was like that misty stuff that came down. The fans are lovely. They're so chill. Those fans, like, nobody's worried about an outfit. They're just, ready for the game. The 12s are about football. They're about the Seahawks. And I love that. I love it, love it, love it. I got to go to 3 away games. So anything that was close. So I went to Jacksonville, I went to Tennessee, and I went to, and of course I went when they played here, and they played against the Falcons. And we had a big group of people go and see him play, even though, he was because I didn't understand I didn't understand at first that you're on the 53-man roster, but only 48 dress each week. So my husband had to explain it to me and Google it and send it to me. And I'm like, oh, that's why. So he was a healthy scratch for most of the season, but he played, I think, in 2 or 3 games. He got a couple of snaps in. So, but he's just like in a good organization. And one thing I really liked about that I love about Seattle, when they posted like the championship, they posted all 73 players. That's on, all 73 players. Because the coach said,
including the practice players,
everybody. Because the coach stated at the beginning of the season, it's going to take all 73. of everybody for us to get to the Super Bowl, because everybody has to, it's about the next man up, because you never know when your number is going to be called. So you got to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that impressed me a lot, that when I saw that, I was like, I like that. You know, like everybody got recognized, because I think a lot of times, you know, people would just say, oh, didn't get that many snaps. Oh, they're on a practice team. Those practice people make the 53 that actually play every Sunday better. You know what I'm saying? If they don't practice hard, then we're not going to be in the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? Those men, they go to work every single day. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I hear how tired he is. You know, like Jared called me the other day, and I was like, hey, Jared. He was like, hey, Ma, why you sound like that? I just talked to you. I was like, I talked to you on Tuesday. I said, that was 2 weeks ago on Tuesday. Okay? You know? I leave him alone, you know, because he's at work. You know what I'm saying? I know when he's able, he's going to call me, you know, or he's going to if I text him, I'll text him, you know, good morning, have a great day. He might not reply for 2 days. It might be a week, but I know he's going to reply sooner or later. And sometimes I just text proof of life. That's it. I just need proof of life. That's
you know you're okay. Absolutely.
Right.
We can relate to that.
But of course, college is a lot more. I mean, it's not as big. The parking, the get. Well, I don't know. I guess I haven't been there long enough to really do a lot of the tailgating yet. I'll change that next season. I'll change it next season. But I kind of know what to expect now. You know, you have to get your feet wet in it to see what's going on. You know, but Seattle was lovely. Seattle, I love the weather. Where we stayed reminded me of little 5 Points here in Atlanta. It was really, you know, artsy and stuff like that. So I'm excited because I want to do all the touristy stuff. I want them to throw the fish in my hands so I can catch it. I want to do all that stuff. I want to go to the Space Needle. You know, I want to do all of that stuff. So I'm excited to go back and spend some time and just hang out. But he'll be home in a couple of weeks, so I'll get to squeeze him again in a second. Because I called him on FaceTime today when he was on the bus and on the parade. And he was like, Mom, I was like, I love you so much. He just started crying. I was like, I'm so proud of you. I said, enjoy yourself. And then after I got off the phone, I had a moment. It just came down, and I was like, I really need to stop crying. I really need to stop crying. And my friends were like, just cry. Just cry. It's like, okay. But I'm excited. But
just being able to, you know, to just relish in his journey with everything that he's gone through, and even, you know, losing his dad, and I know that was just so tough for you all. So I'm just so proud of that you all were able to, you know, just are able to just come out on the other side. There's so many players that go in the NFL, whether they're on the practice squad or however they are, and they never get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I even good friends of ours, the Godfreys. You know the Godfreys.
Oh, yes,
you know, Randall sent me such a lovely text message. He's like, just enjoy this. Just, you know, and I'm sure he texts Jared himself, but he's like, you know, all the years I was in the NFL, I never made it to the Super Bowl. This is a special moment. I love the Godfreys because, you know, when we first moved, you know, they were renting a house behind us when they were building the house. So when Kendall was about to be born, Randall called and said, can you pick the boys up from daycare for me? I was like, I'm on it. I'll go pick them up. They'll just be at my house when you're ready after the baby's born. And now she's a senior in high school. I just don't understand where the time has gone. I don't understand where the time's gone.
Well, I sent him I called him earlier this week. He never responded back because I want him on the show to tell his story. So whenever you talk to him again, or can you text him and let him know that I tried contacting him?
Oh yeah. Well, you know, he was out there with me because
yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so he was out there because his son was playing basketball. So I didn't even get to see him because I know he's in California. But, you know, those basketball games, they play a lot of games in basketball. Yes. But I do enjoy basketball because it's an indoor sport. You don't have to be out in the weather like football.
In the hot or the cold or the rain or anything like that.
All of that. But of course, we're football moms. So we've been we're sitting there with the poncho on, freezing. And I'm
a coach. So I had to get used to it. Our first season, I about froze to death, didn't I? He's got this picture of me where we're in the championship game, and I'm like this, and people have no idea how cold I was. It was freezing.
Well, my question is, you teach a young person, and this comes with yourself and his stepdad mentally, because he was a SEC big time player, and then he doesn't get drafted. And what people don't understand about sports, everybody can run and jump. It's the mental part that keeps you going. So, what was his mental? I'm asking you to speak for him, but what was his mental mind? Because he's that guy.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, the NFL says he's there now. We're not talking about that, but we're just saying at that moment, he's that guy and's been that guy. And now he's not where he thought he would be mentally. How did you help him and his stepdad help him with that?
That's a good question but with Jared's always treated football as a business. And so I think he had a moment. He probably gave himself a moment. And I think maybe losing his dad, I've taught them, if you need to have a moment, have your moment. But once you have your moment, you got to keep putting one foot in front of the next. So I believe he had his moment, but then he was go to work mode, like what's next, what's next? What are we doing? This is what I'm doing. I'm going to Seattle, so he knew that, we had a conversation, after a rookie camp, and he was like, I'm not upset anymore, but he's like, there's probably, I need to get on the 53-man roster. I said, you know what? You just take it day by day. I said, once the pads go on, we show up, we show up when the pads go on. So I think because he's always treated it like a business, I think he could leave some of the feelings out of it. Like Jared's really analytical, and it's this, it's that, it's this, it's that. Like he doesn't really do all the emotional stuff. Like my other son, very emotional. He's an Aries like me, but Jared, as long as he knows you're okay, he's like, okay, let's move on to the next thing. So I think just from growing up and making that adjustment and kind of learning how to separate feelings a little bit helped him, in moving to the next step, and finding and actually, just real coachable, you know what I'm saying? So I think with him and his agent, when they, because of course the phone was ringing off the hook after, the draft, and everybody was calling them, so they had to have a good conversation, and they picked right. they picked, I couldn't have scripted it any better than what happened, because it's not on our time. It's always on God's time. It's always on God's time. So sometimes you just got to sit in it and what's going to be, what's going to be, and I used to always tell people all is well. Everybody's texting, and I said, what, all is well. All is well.
Okay. So the one question I have though is, you're either drafted, but if you don't get drafted, do you get to choose where you want to go?
You don't get to choose. You're waiting for the phone to ring to see who wants to pick you up. Who wants to.
Okay, so if you have multiple teams that want to pick you up, then you can choose, or
then you have to decide, and it's like a time. You can't wait long. Can't wait long because they can move on to the person.
Right, but I think that of course, everybody wants to be drafted, but to me, like you said, I think sometimes that's an advantage, because at least you get to choose where you want to go if multiple teams are requesting you.
Yeah, good. And not just choose. The greatest thing about your baby being on that team, they've got 4-5 front linemen are dogs. And there's your visual aid. That front four is, they ain't no joke. They are physical. So him playing in the SEC, when I watched him on film, he was very finesse, very out there. So, but their front line is very physical. So, they're very physical.
Very physical, and he's learning so much. I think he's learning so much, and when he first, I think when I was on the elevator, funny story. So on the elevator, and I met Tori Horton, and I had met his fiance earlier that day because she rode in the Uber with us, and I think somebody in the elevator was asking, what their nicknames were, and I was like, I said, what do y'all call Jared? And they said at first we called him Poison Ivy, because he was getting at it in practice, but we had to tell him we can't hurt the quarterback, can't hurt the quarterback, And so now they just call him Ivy. So so because he doesn't post a lot, he doesn't really do social media. But when they won the championship a couple weeks ago, and he called me from the locker room, and the smile gets me every single time. So he was smiling with the cigar and doing all the things. And so when I saw him today, and I said, look, when Jared turns up, he about that turnip now. He about that turnip life. And to see them like hanging out at the post party before we were like waiting for T-Pain, and they were just, dapping each other up, and they're you could tell that, like, to me, there was no egos. I don't know, there might be some, but it looked like they were for the team. It was about the team. It wasn't about, you doing this, I'm shining here. It was about, we got to win. And if you notice during the season, several people stepped up. Sometimes it was the defense, sometimes it was the offense, but several people stepped up.
Most of the time it was all three. It was the defense, the offense, and special teams, because listen, they were a total team.
I'm not giving them all that, but that defense,
this one.
I mean, I'm just saying that defense.
The defense was amazing.
Truthfully, when they played the Rams, I had the Rams going based on their offense. Because they were very explosive offense. They could, everybody, they had backs, they had tight ends. And I said, for the first time, Seattle is actually going to have to blitz. And that's when I go back to y'all's front four. They didn't have to. Because that front four put so much pressure. And then when they did blitz, oh my gosh, I mean, it was like free range. And it was very exciting to watch. So, next year, and so next year he'll be home in a couple of weeks. And then when does you think he gets started getting himself ready for next year?
Oh, I already asked that question. He said we started like they start late in March.
Okay.
And they're ready. He comes home. He's back in Seattle the beginning of March. And probably by the middle to the end of March, they're already conditioning, getting ready again. Again, just like college, they're always recruiting. We're about to do the draft now. You know what I'm saying? So again, you gotta stay ready so you don't have to get ready. So he's ready to get some more snaps in the fall, and I know he will. I know he will. Every time when I see him, I'm like, you look leaner. Did you lose any weight? He's like, no, Mom. I was like, you look leaner than me. You look leaner.
Well, I mean, he's going to get ready. And a lot of time is the difference between college and pro is, especially in that position, it's like an O-lineman. The D-line and O-line, everybody hears about the skill guys, but, you don't win unless your D-line and O-line can do their job. That's not get it twisted. And
everybody has to run their assignment. They have to work their assignment. And if they don't run their assignment, everybody got to be in the right gap. All the things, you know what I'm saying? Because it all works together.
All the things at this level. Coach Bryant just brought to my attention, and I had the comments off. James Setta, what's up, family?
James Setta, that's my girl. I saw her when I saw her last week, and so I was happy. I was trying to make it to Radio Row. I was in my rental car. The police officer wouldn't let me go straight. I was right there with the parking spot. And then by the time I put the location on to get me to the hotel to go to this welcome party, I was like, James, I can't, Papa. I gotta go right to the hotel. She's like, it's okay. I'll see you tomorrow. So I was able to see her and squeeze her.
I'm not going to jinx you, but in a few more years, you just have a shirt. I'm a judge mom, and then that police officer will let you. Just go ahead and make the shirt now. And he goes, oh, come on, Mom.
I might do that. I don't know.
Or
But
just
the
a hat so
NFL
that
is
you have no doubt for who you are when you come through there. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
well, usually when I get my next jersey, I'm gonna put Ivy's mom on the back of it because right now it just says Ivy, but I'm gonna put Ivy's mom on the back of it because usually that's what I do for my own Miss jerseys. So I'm gonna put Ivy's mom, and I'm gonna definitely get it blinged. I gotta have it blinged because I didn't have it blinged this year. I gotta have it blinged.
We're trying to get you through all this traffic. See, you're driving or you're in the passenger, you're like this. If you put it up there, they're gonna catch their attention. I'm sorry. We live in the United States of America.
That's gonna catch their attention. And make sure it's blinged out.
And you bless. Go ahead.
Y'all are too much. But your baby, this is gonna be his last year. Is he going into the draft this year?
Who, Ty?
He's got one more year, right? Your baby's got one more year. Okay, this is gonna be a big one.
Yeah, he's done well. All SEC, second team, and first team all American academics, and so he's hoping we have a very good year. But thank you for bringing him up and mentioning. We appreciate that. But
do y'all play Georgia Tech at all?
No,
next year? No.
We won't ever.
We don't even play Georgia this year.
Well, we won't play Georgia Tech because we went to the SEC went to
9 games.
9 games.
Oh,
So you only have a few games that you pick, and you know, like there's a reason why we're playing Youngstown State first, because that's where Stoops came from. Because you want to give them your friends money, which makes sense. Yeah. I mean, makes sense.
So, are y'all playing any close games this way? Because I get in the car, I won't drive more than about 5 hours. So anything more than 5 hours,
Carolina is the closest.
We play South.
Okay, well then you need to send me the dates for that so I can come to South Carolina. Okay, and I can see the Godfreys. I can see my own neighbors. I can see the Godfreys. And I'll wear some blue and white. But I'll still probably rep Seahawks, but it'll still be blue.
That's okay.
No. Rep your
Seahawks.
Again, they might not look bad, but anyway, move on.
So, Mr. Brown made a comment. Let me go back. Hey, Mr. Brown, I see your comment. I'm gonna come back to it. So James said she was trying to interview you, but the traffic wouldn't let y'all be great. So I get the privilege I get to see her tomorrow. She let me be her roommate in DC. We're going to the football conference this weekend, and so
South Carolina.
It's in DC this weekend, and so she's let me bum with her in her room.
Well,
I could have a sleepover. Yay.
Yes.
And I will say this: I don't like a lot of times when the wife does these little trips, and she made it crystal clear who she's going to see and be with. And what did I say?
Oh yeah.
Oh, we good.
Oh yeah. James Data, gold. James Data is gold.
Yeah. Well, I tell her
gold.
It's not telling you what to do. It's just Terri's my world. And I'm always thinking, making sure she's good, and she's but I said, hey, they don't work all the time. So we have to make sure she's safe. So I'm looking forward.
How long is the conference?
Thursday through Saturday.
Okay. We all gonna have good. I'm sure it's gonna be a lot of information.
And then the actual conference is Friday and Saturday.
Right.
Like all day.
Okay, good. Okay. Well, I'm sure y'all will get online and do something so we can all the community can learn what y'all learned, because one thing I want parents to understand is they need to treat it like a business. This is a business. And yes, our kids get a free education and we're thankful for that, but they treat them as a business because they're always recruiting. I'm just going to say that they're always recruiting, and you have to read these contracts because they put stuff in these contracts, and these kids sign this stuff thinking it's one way, and then they don't read the small print or have somebody read the small print. You got to read the small print, and it's the more you know.
That's good stuff.
Not just read it, understand it.
That part. And if you don't understand it, have somebody that can explain it for you.
Understand it.
Because
that's the biggest ones when I read ties. And I mean, I'm intelligent, but there was a lot of words I did not know what that meant. And then you look it up in the dictionary; it's not in there. So
no, I had to send it to the lawyers and have it redlined. And some of the stuff they were like, they want a signed jersey, a signed football. I'm like, there's no start and stop time, for these appearances. And I'm like, they're in school. They have practice. They just can't be hanging out,
Right.
shooting the breeze. If we're going to start at 10, we're going to be done by 10:30, 11. Jared's going to have a start and a stop time. So I made sure that the contracts were red line, like, no, we're not doing that, and it's okay to say no. Please know that it's okay to say no. You don't have to say yes to everything. And these parents need to know that they have to pay their taxes. Yeah. You got to pay the taxes. And what I've learned, because now he's in the NFL, he pays taxes in every state they play in. So you have to have a different tax professional, because that tax professional needs to know how to do taxes, because every state they pay in, they have to pay state taxes for that state.
Yeah. Yes. And that's that is a factual. So
yeah, I think that is the biggest thing. And we were grateful that our agent kind of pushed back on some things for Ty, and we were just grateful that we had him in our on our team. But we also had a great friend also that we were able to kind of pick up the phone and talk to look over stuff.
Yeah, we're very fortunate to know people before we needed to ask them questions.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So we broke bread with them before, so now they're used to communicating with them.
They're not strangers, they're like family. So it's like, hey, we had one thing where like they were making a suit for Jared, and I was like, where's the contract? And they were like, well, we made this custom suit. And I was like, still need to see the contract. And he was able to get the contract right before the game, because I was like, well, he's not going to wear it unless we see the contract first. We read the contract to see what's in the contract.
Right.
Now, so is he?
Because I want to make sure that whatever he signs up to do and he's obligated to do, he could do it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want there's a bunch of stuff where I know he's not going to be able to do it because he's concentrating on classes, practice. And then if you're asking Jared to post anything, that's probably not going to happen. So can't be too much stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because they're focused. Season starts, they're tunnel vision. You know what I'm saying? That's what they're focused on.
Well, even in the off season, the tunnel vision, we don't see Ty as much. He probably works harder in the off season, preparing for the season than he is during the. We probably see him more during the season than we do in the off season because
absolutely,
because
you're going to games because you're going to the games to see
absolutely
him.
Yeah.
Now, has he committed to Nike, Adidas, Armour yet, or is he still?
Well, yeah. So since we have like this first season under our belt, then the next thing is the brand deals and all that. And we've already set up his LLC, and his nonprofit, and all the things. So now we got to figure out, okay, what does that look like? What do you want to do? So, but I let the agency, because I got to be mom. I got to be mom because they get to an age where it's like, Mom, I can handle it. I can do it. So, and when they come to you and ask you questions, and that's when you, so you want me to, so are you sure you want me to? Okay. But other than that, I try to be mom, I try to, stay out of it, but I have a good relationship with his agent. So, I'll be like, okay, Roosevelt, we got to do this, and they'll be like, okay, Tracey, the taxes have to be paid. They're sending you the checks, I was like, make sure, you get it. Cause my address is a home address like yours. I'm sure yours home base. So stuff comes, and please, these children do not check emails. They do not look at emails. That's all I'm gonna say.
Or inboxes or DMs or none of that stuff.
Well, you enlightened me. Thank you for that information, because for some reason in my mind, I thought speaking of Ty, when you make the roster, automatically somebody comes for you. Excuse me.
Well, no. You make the roster, and that's half the battle. You know what I'm saying? You make the roster, and then you have to stay on the roster. So, don't get it twisted. They're still trading people. If you're not going to work every day, you can get put on the practice team, which is not horrible. But if you're taking care of your business, you're going to stay a 53-man roster. So I'm really proud of the fact that he made the roster. He stayed on the roster. He went to work. Like, he would always say, okay, Mom, I got to go to work now. I'm like, oh yeah, you do. You're going to work now. Okay. So every couple of weeks, like I collect all his mail and I'll stick it in a big envelope and I'll mail it to Seattle. Make sure you look at this mail now. Don't let it just sit there.
Pile up.
You actually, you gotta open it. You gotta open it. My health insurance, some health insurance stuff. Because I told him, I said, hey, I want to keep you on my health insurance. You have like double insurance. So my health insurance went up. And I called him. I said, son. He's like, Mom, I'm okay. I said, you know what? You're right. You okay?
Right.
You don't need to be on my insurance, Mom. So he offered my insurance. Okay, he offered my insurance. But I'm like, did you make? And I said, well, did you make your dentist appointment? He's like, no, Mom. They actually come here like in a big like bus thing, like on the inside of the dentist office, and they clean their teeth. And I was like, oh, us little people have to actually go to the dentist office. They just roll up to the practice facility and get their teeth cleaned. I was like, how convenient. Because they only get one day off. They only get one day off a week. So they're always working. It's meetings. It's working. It's like, okay, we have a break, right now. And Jared's going to take a nap. If he can take a nap, he's going to take a nap. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him. But just like in college, how scheduled it is, it's just as scheduled in the NFL. They are scheduled. They have meetings. When he came to Atlanta and I went to go pick him up and we took him to the barbershop, he got his hair twisted. And so he told me the hotel he was going to. So I thought it was that hotel. He's like, Mom, this is not the right one. I have to be back for meetings by 7:30. And I was like, sweat, just immediately sweat. I was like 18 minutes away. And he's like, Mom, we'll get there on time. I said, you can't even talk to me right now. Don't even talk to me right now. I'm just driving. 10 and 2. I'm just driving. I got him there with, I think, 7 minutes, maybe 13 minutes to spare. And I was like, just get out. Just get out. He's like, I saw my whole career flashing. I was like, don't say stuff like that to me. Don't say that to me. But they're really strict. Like you got to be on time. You can't be late. You got to turn your phones off and all the things. So like I said, I don't really bother him, but he sometimes forgets he's 3 hours behind, and he'll call me like at 1 o'clock in the morning. He's like, oh, I didn't know you were asleep.
Like, dude, it's 1 o'clock in the morning.
And then I'll call him back, and I'm like, hey. He was like, no. You can go back to sleep. I'm like, I got menopause. I'm up now. I'm up looking around. Okay. Be like, no, Mom, I'll just call you tomorrow. I'm like, get off my phone. Just get off my phone. But I miss him. But he's grown. He's good. He's good. He's good. And I'm so pleased. I'm so happy for him. I couldn't have scripted it any better this season at all. Like every time they would win, or even when they lost, I was like, okay, we're going to get back on it. They're going to get back on it. The game before last, I was on FaceTime with my twin sister. And I was like, I can't even talk to you anymore. I said, I have to get off the phone with you until I was rocking like Sophie in The Color Purple. I was like, I said, we got to get off the phone until after I know that they won. And then I could call you back. But I'm always a nervous wreck. I don't eat, even at Ole Miss, I don't eat anything. I barely drink anything. And sometimes I have to take my pickle juice with me so I don't cramp up. I have this little bottle of pickle juice. Because I'll need the salt, but I'm too nervous. I'm way too nervous. When they played Georgia and we won, I was like, we're about to. And Jared got the first sack. And I was like, my sister almost ripped my arm out of my socket. She was like, ah! And I was like, that was such a good game. That was such a good game. And then the goalpost just went down to the Grove. It ended up at the Grove.
Right.
Down at the Grove, went through the Grove, went all the way downtown in Oxford. So, but yeah, I'm going to try to get back to Oxford when they play LSU.
Okay. Because that's that game. I hope our game's not the same time. If not, we're gonna have to, we're gonna have to record it because I want to see that game too. That's gonna be a good game.
That's gonna be that's gonna be a good game. That's gonna be a really good game.
And then when we go to Texas, we go to Texas A&M, and that's gonna be an interesting game because we have Texas A&M's defensive coordinator that was there. So that will be an interesting game when we go back there. So we got some good games.
Those fans are interesting. I remember playing Texas A&M at Oxford. Yeah, but we beat them. So y'all need to beat them.
They play Saturday, September the 19th in Mississippi.
September the 19th. So when do y'all play South Carolina?
I can ask that. Oh, by the way, Ty said I told him who was on the podcast. Oh, that's what's up. So he told me to tell you congratulations and tell your son congratulations on the Super Bowl win. And
thank you. I appreciate. Tell him I'm gonna try to make that South Carolina. South Carolina is an easy drive for me. Because we play in South Carolina, that's like a 3-hour drive. I can drive to South Carolina, definitely. And then I can see my girlfriend, my good girlfriend in South Carolina. Big up, Leslie. I probably don't stay with you, girl. Okay.
Yeah, I have one of my best friends, Trina. She lives in Columbia, and we had dinner with her and her husband. Her husband's he's a Miami fan, and she's a Cowboys fan like me, so we chopped it up and had a great time.
In spite of the Cowboy being 2 Cowboys at the table, it was very good.
Oh wait, didn't we get DeMarcus Lawrence from the Cowboys? He played for the Cowboys for a long time, guys.
He was with the Cowboys for 11 years. I think he might have made the playoffs maybe one time, let alone made the Super Bowl. And then he's 1 year with Seattle when he wins the Super Bowl. And I'm so excited for him. I think that was.
I'm excited for all the veterans that have been playing for a while, like 10, 11 years. It's just, and our special teams. We got Shaheed, and he just.
Oh my goodness!
Just did everything. I was like, what was that? The 49er game that he did Was that the 49er game? And that right off the rip, I was like, is that how we're starting? I said, well, that's how we're starting.
Right off the I think that was the 49ers.
Different subject. All right.
But the one thing I liked about there's several storylines about Seattle that I think is really, really good. And I think the first one is the head coach and how he became a head coach.
Yes.
He didn't come up the ranks like most people do through a typical way. And I just love how he just grinded and came up. And so I had made a post in our women's football group that I feel like that's how a lot of women are going to be. Their stories are going to be similar to his because as these,
he calls all the defense. Like he calls all the defense. Like he's a defensive coach. He's a defense. So he's the defense coordinator for the Ravens. And so this is the second season as a head coach, and he calls all the defensive plays.
I love it.
So he is about football.
Answer your South Carolina question is Kentucky will play them there at South Carolina October the 3rd.
I'm writing it down. October 3rd.
They haven't set a time.
Okay, it shouldn't be too cold. It shouldn't be too cold. It shouldn't be too cold.
Okay. It won't be cold on October 3rd. Okay, so so Mr. Brown, he said he reminded me that my show does not talk about politics. But how did the halftime show in the NFL become a political competition? Like,
when I tell you, everybody was on their feet.
I didn't even, you know what? I had no idea that had happened until after the fact. I had no idea there was two different sports.
I probably learned about it maybe a day before. I was like, oh, okay. But when I tell you how electric it was, everybody was on their feet. It was amazing. And then when he threw up the Jamaican flag, because, my parents are immigrants, they're from Jamaica. He threw up the Jamaican flag. I was like, boop, 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 boop. I was like, okay, Bad Bunny, I see you. It was the symbolism. Everybody was on their feet. I don't get it, but, everything is not for everybody. And I'm going to just say that, so.
Okay, so let me fill my husband in because he had no idea. He had no idea what was going on. So
no, hold on. Before you do it, just keep your train of thought. And the reason why, because I don't get into that. And I'm a kind of person that will not, if I feel like something needs a cause, I'm gonna put my 2 cents in, and I won't shut up about it. But for someone making a cause, just to make a cause, I glance and then I move on. And it doesn't mean I don't support it. Just please do you. I'm gonna please do you. I really am. And
Well,
I
you know,
don't.
these fans are very fickle. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, you know, they probably want to say something, you know, but choose not to say something because of, again, you know, that you're messing with their livelihood. You know what I'm saying? So if you're brave enough and you stand on whatever you want to stand on, and like you said, if it's that outlandish and you got to say something, then you got to say something. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah. So please explain to me because I have no idea.
Okay, so I didn't find this out until after the fact. So apparently, what's his name? Because I'm gonna be honest, I had no idea who the heck Bad Bunny was.
I heard of it.
I didn't know. I
Never
never
heard a
really know. Yeah.
song, never heard of him, nothing.
He's
Right?
like the number one streamer for the last couple years. Like he across all platforms, like streamer, like across every country. You know that reggaeton. You know.
Okay, had no idea. Had never heard of him. Never seen him on the stream. Right? So okay, so he was the feature for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Well, somebody, MAGA or whoever it was, decided that they were going to do an American version of during the Super Bowl. And so they were trying to pull people that didn't want to watch Bad Bunny over to their live stream was it on YouTube, I think?
YouTube. On YouTube.
On YouTube to watch theirs. And so I saw something where they were like, oh, well, we've got millions of people that came from the Super Bowl and now they're watching us because they didn't want to watch the Bad Bunny show or whatever. And so then there was lots of people that were just talking about how un-American the Bad Bunny show was and why
and that goes back to thank you. I didn't know that. That goes back to what I said is do you. And you don't have to badmouth one. If that's not you,
then
what do
don't
you do?
watch.
Change the channel. I mean, you don't have to say anything.
Change the channel.
I never, and she knows I'm 100% factual about this. I don't care. I mean, if I don't want to be interested in, if I get turn in my car and I turn on the radio and it's a song I don't like, what do? I click it on another station, and then I make it. Know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, but there's some people that are gonna complain regardless.
Regardless.
They're gonna they have to have an opinion, you know, about something. Music is so universal. Even though I didn't understand a word he said, I understood what he meant. You know what I'm saying? Like music, the beat, all of it. You know, it's universal. Again, my parents are Jamaican, so I grew up listening to all kind of musics. I grew up in Brooklyn. So I grew up with Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Haitians, Africans, everybody. It was a melting pot in Brooklyn. So that's not unusual for me. And that's not unusual for a lot of people. It's a little unusual for some people. And I get it. If that's not your cup of tea, it's not your cup of tea. But I mean, keep your opinions to yourself. Like you said, watch something else. It's okay. No skin off my back. You know what I'm saying? I like opera music. Don't understand a word, but it moves me. You know what I'm saying? I've been to the ballet. There's no words in the ballet. We got to figure out what they're doing. You know, what the whole ballet is about. You know, nobody's up in arms like there's no subtitles at the ballet. You know, so you know, people are just going to complain because they want to complain. So it is what it is.
That is, Trace. That is fantastic for you to say because that's a factual. I've been blessed to be on this earth a while, and she'll tell you I just stare at you and shake my head, and you ain't gonna mess up my blessings. I'm good.
That part, I am not going, because you know sometimes I read the comments. It's like I'm not going to let somebody that I don't know take me out of my character. I don't even know that part.
That's too much power.
Because you know, especially sports, people they like to comment about any and everything. They picked up a ball, they haven't picked up a rope. We don't even know. They probably 500 pounds somewhere. They have an opinion. They got an opinion about everything. And I'm like, but I'm not going to let somebody that I know get me out of my character. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not even give you that energy because that's what they want. They want that energy. And I can't give that away anymore. I'm just not going to do it. God bless. You know what? Do you, God bless. Be well. I'm good. I'm going to stay over here and try to be positive because, you know, waking up is half the battle because somebody didn't wake up. So we
That
have to
part.
be thankful that we wake up every single day because somebody did not open their eyes. So y'all complaining about X, Y, and Z when somebody didn't wake up, didn't have the pleasure of waking up the next day just to make it through another day. So I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it.
Yeah, I just thought it was the most ignorant thing that I had ever heard of in my life.
It's still trending. It's still trending. I'm like, these
and I
people are
think
still
it's
talking about it. I don't get it.
And Mr. Brown, I see your comment, but I'm not getting ready to give that another thought on my show. But I appreciate you bringing that up, but because it did need to be brought up, right?
And let's go on the negative part. Is I will never forget. We show up and we go out, and this dude, Ty, had a great game, fantastic game. And I'm standing over, and this guy walks up to me, and his comment, just like you're talking about, his comment was, "Man, Ty, he muffed that punt." And I looked at him. He had 9 tackles, an interception, 2 deflections, and the only thing I said to him was, "What?" And then she goes, like, "What?" And he but not say something else. Goes, that's my baby now.
That was enough. That was enough, sir. Yeah. Coach, that was enough. That what was enough. Okay.
And I heard you, but, it's sort of like if I say something and Terry goes, "What'd you say?" Like I'm stupid enough to say it again.
I already know. I got away with it the first time. I'm not gonna repeat it. I'm good. I'm good. But there's a lot of, like you said, chair seat coaches, and it's like you're not even out there. You don't know what they go through.
Up in the stands, you hear them yelling because I'm gonna tell you, something's wrong with them. NFL home team people, they live and breathe their scoop. College ain't like the games I've been to, and I'm walking around the Bengals game, and the Niners are playing. I got my Niners shirt on, and I go in the bathroom. Man, you sure you want to come in this bathroom? I got to use the bathroom.
I've never understood that. If on a away game at college, just be gracious. Like I never liked going to Georgia because those fans are rude.
They were the worst.
They had us. They're just rude for no reason. It's like it's a game. If you got money on it and you lost, I don't know what to tell you. They sat us when we went there. They sat us right in front of the student section. Student section was just cussing and carrying on, doing all the things. And for them to have so much money, why do they have one jumbotron? I had to go to the chiropractor the next day from trying to look at
it was right here.
And it's right here.
Yeah.
They got so much money. Why we don't got 2 jumbotrons so we can at least go like this?
Right.
They got one. All that money, you got one jumbotron. Fix that. And the steps in that stadium is a hazard.
Oh my God.
It's a half a mile to get down to the seat because our seats were on like row 3.
Yeah.
And it was a mile, and it was like a mile from the all the way to me.
And you don't go up like this.
It's
you
like
go up
this.
like this.
No, it's like, and these small steps. And I was like, they got all this money, and this is what we got to go. This is what we have to go. I mean, God bless. You know what I'm saying? I think they can do better. I really do. I think they can do better. At least get another jumbotron. Just saying. Just saying. I know I had to go to the chiropractor after I got back home because I had a crick in my neck from looking this way because I couldn't see because we weren't too high up. We were kind of, but they were right in front of the student section. And then the other place I don't like to play, like I never have to go back to Louisiana.
You didn't like LSU?
I've been to
a fight broke out with some Ole Miss parents and an LSU fan that was sitting in the family section, and I was out pacing like Sophie in the Color Purple. So they come out and they done told me everything that happened. It took us like 2.5 hours just to get out of the parking lot in Louisiana. To get out of the stadium took us 2.5 hours. We were just sitting there. Couldn't go anywhere. Traffic was horrible. But those fans too, like one little girl came out and I guess they call you like gator bait or whatever. And she jumped out in front of me. And instinctively you want to go like this. And I had to hold myself. I was like, where's your parents? Like, where are your parents? You can't, don't do that. Don't do that because you get the wrong somebody. You get a reaction real quick. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Louisiana and Georgia, I don't ever have to go back to those.
Yeah, because they hit the tiger and he bad. And then they have the fans walk through and they're yelling, "Tiger bait, tiger bait."
Yeah,
and they get close. They get close.
They get real close. They get a little bit too close into your personal space, and I don't. And it's never like that at Ole Miss. Everybody is always so nice, and Georgia Tech, everybody was so nice. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was chill. It's a game. They're not curing cancer. It's a game. It's entertainment. And some of these people are way too serious. Way too serious. Way too serious. I'm like, just catch a bubble, y'all. Catch a bubble. Catch your breath. You're doing too much.
Okay, so Mr. Brown has a couple of questions about Lane Kiffin. He said, what were your thoughts on Lane Kiffin leaving abruptly for the LSU program?
Wasn't surprised.
Was that a surprise?
No.
Or it was not a surprise? Wasn't surprised. Okay. Are there any thoughts regarding NIL pursues to players and Lane Kiffin running to LSU for huge money and seemingly fractured loyalty to his team?
I mean, in the end, it's a business. It's a business. It's all about the money all the time. So you got to take your personal feelings out of it. And you have, as parents, you got to be smart. Like I said earlier, you got to read the small print. You got to see what you sign your kids up, or what they're obligated for, because that one young man who signed the deal at Georgia, and in the fine print, they want their $390,000 back. Because he decided to go somewhere else. I said, did we not read the contract to see that was a stipulation? Again, somebody didn't read it. Somebody just saw the money and said, oh, we're getting $400,000. You know, let's sign it.
Came with a bigger bag, so then they went with the bigger bag.
And the biggest thing
they went with the bigger bag.
The biggest thing they're sticking in the contracts now, if they don't read it, is you have to play in a bowl game.
Or they want you to pay it back. And they want you to pay it back. But I mean, I get it. But when you think about it, the coaches can get up and leave. But you're putting these parameters on the kids, you know? So it's okay for the coach to leave and the kids can't leave too. So it's a slippery slope. But again, as parents and as grown people, we have to read these contracts. Now they're in court because now, you know, he doesn't want to have to pay the $390,000, but it's like, that's what you signed. That's the contract that you signed. Who was representing you? Who was advising you? Obviously, the right people weren't advising him. They just saw the dollars and said, oh, yeah, sign it, without looking at any of the fine print. And I feel so bad and then I hear of some NIL deals where, you know, they have, like, if you're late, they're docking you. So at the end of the month, the kids owe the NIL people money.
Colorado's doing. He's doing it. He said if you're out of dress code, if you're late, if you don't go to class, if you don't do all the things that I need you to be doing, you're gonna start getting docked.
But here's my thing, ladies, on this. Okay, here's my thing. Sit back a bit. Here's my thing. Yes, what is he saying that's wrong?
He's not.
No, I didn't say it was wrong. I'm just saying people are not reading the stuff. So you can't be surprised when you're held accountable for something that you signed for.
Well, yes. And I'm saying everything when I'm talking about Coach Prime, everything when I read his information, the first thing at my age I came to, okay, oh, I'm sorry, he's a horrible. I'm not saying you're saying that he's not, but I said the horrible coach. Oh, he wants you to go to class. How dare him? He's a horrible person because he wants you not to be late for meeting. That gets you ready for life. You cannot be late for
exactly.
Exactly. He's a horrible coach because he's saying stop saying the N word. You know, at a job you can't do that. So
same thing.
I had this conversation with someone. I said, guys, he is not trying to be a dictator.
He's setting you up for his life.
Getting ready for the future, because one of these days the air is going to come out of that ball.
Yes.
I mean, did that?
And they have to know not everybody's going to the NFL. So what's your plan B? If you're not, like, he's trying to set them up where, sometimes you got to change. And we know that we have the code switch. We know, you know what I'm saying? But they have to understand, this is where you decided to go. These are the rules of his classroom. You're signing the contract for his classroom. So if you don't want to follow the directions for this, you read it first. they go somewhere else. But again, now that they have revenue sharing, and of course I learned this through James Etta, and they have roster limits, a lot of these parents don't understand there's roster limits. So you have to go into the season asking what your number is. You got to have these real conversations with the coaches, because if you're whatever right under the cutoff, you got to start looking for somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's just life now. It's revenue sharing. It's roster limits. They can even choose if they give you a full scholarship. It don't have to be a full scholarship anymore. It could be like baseball, where you get this covered and all this stuff. Other thing, a partial scholarship. So parents have to be aware of these things. You know, it's not like it used to be when my son, I mean, he graduated just on time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, the revenue sharing, well, I'm sure that part of it been nice. But again, the revenue sharing is going to go to the people that are playing. They're going to get most of it. And you got to know that too. And you can't be upset about that, but you got to know and treat it like a business. It's not it's not a participation that everybody gets a trophy. It's not that type. It's a business. And a lot of people don't understand, and they get their feelings hurt. They get their panties in a wad. No. And then you got to read. Reading is fundamental. And if you want to hide something, put in a book, put in a contract. Absolutely. But you have, as parents, we have to be smarter than that. We just have to. And then, you know, we can't try to live vicariously through our kids. I mean, that's their stuff. That's like, people are like, are you still going to work? I work every single day. Jared got his job. I got my job. I like my health insurance a lot too. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I said, you know, like, are you going to, look, I love Jared to death, but I want him to live his life, pay his bills, pay his taxes. He's going to be great. I know he's going to take care of me. I have no doubt in that. But it's not a priority for me. It's not like, well, you know, I did all. Like parents that do that. Like they expect stuff, and I don't expect anything from Jed. And anytime he tries to give me something, I was like, like for Christmas, like, Mom, what can I do for you? I was like, I'm good. I don't need anything. I'm just fine. You know what I'm saying? I just want to see you when you come to town, you know, but I don't expect stuff. I don't do all that stuff. You gonna keep working? Absolutely. I'm gonna keep working. I am.
Well, I just want to make sure everybody, even if they're not timing in, understand it. Your comment is very simple and it's to the point, and it's a factual. Simplify the whole thing. Read the contract.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
Read everything.
Read everything.
The bottom line is, parents, read, make sure your agent read, and make sure you not just read it, understand it. You know, because right now, like your son, he's on his first year of his contract. Then he's going to have another one coming up real soon. And God bless. And that one's going to be a little bit more complicated than the first one.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. And finding the right agent too. It's okay to say, no, we don't really, you know what I'm saying? I love our agent. We've been rocking with him for a while. You know what I'm saying? I love me some Roosevelt. But again, if it's not working out, it's okay to say no. It's okay to say, you know what, cut ties. We're going to go, you know, somewhere else. And, you know, we can't be afraid to hurt, I guess not hurt people's feelings, but sometimes you got to go in a different direction.
You just got to do what you feel like is best for you. Even, you know, and that even goes back to when your son decided to go into the transfer portal. That was the decision that was best for him. And
he made that decision. Had nothing to do with me. Had nothing. Yep. He made that decision for himself. A lot of Georgia Tech people were upset. They were up in arms. But Jared knew he wanted to get to the next level. He made that decision in his head, because we never talked about NFL at all. We never. He wanted to be in finance. Blah blah blah. And then after that sophomore year, he's like, I want to go to NFL now. He's like, if I can, it's going to be life-changing money. You know, I can set my children up. I was like, okay, fine. But he knew he had to make that switch. He made that switch for himself, and it was the best switch for him. It had nothing to do with me. It had to do with him, where the next level he wanted to go. It had nothing to do with me. And sometimes we just have to support. We just got to support the kids, and that's it.
Well, I'm about to leave like I did last time, and I always do, and because she has a few little questions you want to ask. But before we let me come on my head and
I ain't mad at you, Coach. Coach, I am not mad at you, because let me tell you something. 49ers was representing at the Super Bowl, and when I tell you I went to the NFL experience, they were walking all through. They were the 49 kid. I said, I'm mad. I'm not mad. You got to rep your team.
I'm surprised they was able to walk with all the tears in our eyes, because we had a lot of tears in our eyes. But anyway, again, please tell your husband we said hi, and your
Thank you. I
son,
will.
your other
I
son,
will.
and be blessed.
And I'll see you October. I'm gonna put it down October 3rd. Okay, I'm gonna make sure I put it down.
Babe, can you answer this question before you
Yes.
leave? Any advice for young players at middle school level to prepare for high school and college sports? For example, NIL eligibility and JUCO, since we both coach middle school.
Well, the hardest thing about middle school is a lot of time middle school doesn't prepare you for high school. Middle school is just a lot of times an upgrade. Because remember, this weekend was at a Super Bowl, and we spoke to one of the teams that wins a lot, and one of their big players said it wasn't fun, and they don't know high school. Our kids leave Crawford, where we're at, and they understand football. They understand coverages. They understand rotation. They understand the checking off. They understand
Football IQ.
So to answer that question, it's hard because a lot of times that individual coach puts in what they want, not what is going to help them to get ready to high school. And I say it all the time. We do prepare our kids for high school. If they choose to stay, the best saying I can give, if you remember, a couple of years ago at the high school here, and the coach is right up on the board, and our kid played with us as an 8th grade. He's a freshman, and he raises his hand. He said, "Coach, we can't run that coverage, not in that set for the offense." And he goes, "Yeah, you can." He goes, "You can't, because he's going to do this, he's going to do this." And he goes, "What middle school did you go to?" He said, "I went to Crawford." And he goes, "Oh, Coach Bryant." Like that. It's the same thing.
I'm gonna piggyback off that, because I don't think parents understand about basketball IQ, football IQ, even in conditioning. Like our high school does a great job getting these boys conditioned. So when Jared was like going to Georgia Tech, they were like, Jared's like, "Yeah, we're already lifting, doing that, la la." A lot of schools are not doing that. The football IQ, the basketball IQ, the conditioning, you got to start in middle school and high school. You can't wait till college, because they're always recruiting. Please understand, a lot of these good players that are in high school, they don't know how to read plays. They don't know how to read, understand the playbook. And if you don't get the playbook, once you get to college, they're not waiting on folks anymore. They're going on to the next person.
And you've got to understand, because I mean, she does a very good job her first year as an OC. She learned a lot, and she's going to be unbelievable. And she thinks she needs to be where I'm at as a defense coordinator, but I've done this a while. And I made a lot of mistakes. She just wasn't there to watch them, because she watches me and goes, "How did you know to do that?" And I said, "Because I didn't do it the other 20 times. So, tell her that, to ease her mind. But with that said, in closing, is that's what we try to teach them is, if you go in motion, we're going to change our defense. Our whole defense changed in middle school. That's high school. That's college. Yep. That's NFL. Yep. We're not standing a cover 3
the whole game.
If you go trips to me, I can't stand that. Okay, it's another advantage. And we're on a roll. And I think the last thing is one of the teams we played against, one of the teams he played against, and they said they what did he say?
He said, "You said defense wins games. Hawks defense was unbelievable. The Seahawks defense was unbelievable."
Oh, yeah. Oh, most definitely. Yeah, most definitely. But one of the biggest things about that is I say it all the time, is you have to figure out, the biggest thing is understanding what the other team is going to do and watching film, which you said is IQ. And that's what people don't get. And you try to explain it to them in 2026, they still want to live in 1999. And like you said multiple times, thank you for your input on that. I am about to go. I'm 2 minutes behind. Got to go let her wind this up. And again, congratulations. Go Hawks.
Thank you so much.
I don't mind saying it. They're in our conference. They just real bad, but they won the Super Bowl. So that makes us that made us look pretty good.
We're trying to get there again next year. And I think the Super Bowl again is in California next year.
All right. Okay.
It's in California again next year. Yes, it is. It's at SoFi Stadium again.
In San Diego, right?
Yes.
Yes, in San Diego. So anyway, I will leave you with go Niners.
Thank you, Coach. I appreciate
Hey, much
you.
love.
And yes, Mr. Brown, and kids need to watch game film as well.
Yes.
I think that was one of the things, even with our team this past year, was I would tell them that. I was like, I can tell you guys are not watching film. I said these teams that we're playing, they've been running the same system since we've been here. For 7 years we've been here. Nothing has changed. So when you go and watch the old film, you're gonna be able to see what they're doing. And the fact that you guys aren't making the adjustments during the game,
Adjustments. Yep.
you're not seeing it. You're not going to be doing it. So I can't wait to
And
go.
that's a coaching thing. The coaches are not coaching them up. They're not. They need to be coaching them up and doing that, because that makes a difference. Because you could be like the number one high school person. You get to college and you can't get the playbook. You can't read the defense. You can't read the offense. How many kids, they think that the quarterback is going to be the business, and they're not, because they don't know how to read the defense. They don't know what's coming at them and stuff like that. So that IQ part, so very important. So very important.
Absolutely. Because I know in the 3 seasons that we've been dealing with Ty, we've dealt with some of his teammates that have not, we're like, why aren't they playing? The athleticism is there, or
yes.
they,
Yep.
but they're not able to get they're not able to read the playbook because they're not.
And it's only going to, and if they're trying to get to the next level.
That's not, you're not.
And I remember Jared, because Jared was like, well, you know what? He said a lot of times, like when he went from Georgia Tech to Ole Miss, and I was like, what's the major difference? He's like, really, basically it's the same. They call it different things. They might do, so he's so like analytical. He could see where the basic information is the same. Mm-hmm. And then what the nuances are, that makes it difference. But some people, it doesn't click like that for them, and then you got to do the little extra work, to learn the plays, learn the defense, and watch film. I ain't never had to do anything because I was never athletically inclined. I was a theater minor.
Well, I watched a lot of, well, that's how I became a coach, was just from watching football just over the years. And so then when Cisco and I got together, and we would watch a game together, I started asking questions. I would just ask
questions. Why? Why? And why did you do this?
Why did that didn't make sense to me. Can you explain why that is the way that it? And then after a while, I was like, oh, okay. So then it got to the point where I'm calling out what's getting ready to happen before it happened. Now I'm criticizing, oh, he should have did this, he should have did this. Well, why didn't they do this? Well, why didn't they go into a cover 2? Or why didn't he cover the flats? Or why? So now, and then when he became a middle school football coach, he came home and was like, well, guess what? I made you my assistant head coach. And I was like, what? He was like, because you know the game. Right?
Yeah. And you can explain it, and you can explain it to the kids. So, because sometimes it's how the adults explain it. Do they explain it where they can get it? You know what I'm saying? So, maybe you have that touch where you can explain it and say, so that light could go off, and they'd be like, oh, that's what that was.
Well, sometimes even with him, because he's a high school coach, and I think sometimes it's hard for him to bring it down to the middle school level. Yeah. And so sometimes I'd be like, babe, I didn't understand what the heck you just said. So I don't know if they understand it, because they have no idea.
He needed that. All. Right. And so he probably needed to know, because he didn't know. Right.
Because he's on that level. And sometimes I take it for granted that it's easy. And sometimes he's like, it's Phi Beta Kappa. This is so easy. And I'm like, hey, it's easy for you because you've been doing it and you've been coaching for 40 years.
Long. Yeah.
So it's easy for you, but these kids are a new generation of kids, and they're just not.
Everybody learns differently, and they learn differently. Some of them are visual. Some of them, you can write it down. Some of it's a combination of it all. But we want everybody to, and we want them to learn, because it's all. And middle school is such a big learning. Because then you get that transition of the ones that, okay, maybe I don't want to play football anymore. You know what I'm saying? And you get the ones like I'm playing football in high school. So you get that transition. You got that transition group in middle school, because some just want to be on the team.
Well, I think in middle school, if you're not already over 6 foot and you're a
Oh,
basketball player, you really should start considering switching over to
yeah,
football. So that's what happened to us. Coach Bryant was able to get some of the basketball players that hadn't played, but we're getting them as eighth grade. Like every year we get a new team. We have no idea
yeah,
like who's coming back
yeah,
next year.
yeah, yep,
We don't have one of those teams that have their kids from sixth grade all the way to eighth grade. A lot of them do something else and then they decide to play for some reason decide to play football their eighth grade year. So then we're getting a whole lot of kids
a lot
where
of, and that's
they're
new.
they're
That's all new,
athletic, they're
right?
athletic, but they have no football IQ. So this year, we thought we had a great team, but they had no football IQ. And then they had a new offensive coordinator. So I thought it was me because I'm like, okay, it must be me because we've been winning it all this time. And now,
Right.
so then I was feeling some type of way. So that's why I got to go to this conference this weekend is because I got to make sure that I'm learning what I'm supposed to be learning and what I don't
Right.
know. And so that I can learn how to be more of, to do my job better. And then I think a lot of times I haven't said this publicly, but I do want to say this publicly is that I feel like I should get a little bit more credit because we have 3 coaches. So as an offensive coordinator, I'm also the offensive line coach. I'm the running backs coach. I'm the quarterback coach. I'm the tight ends coach. And I'm the wide receiver coach. And
You're the
everybody
everything
else
coach.
has those individual coaches
Right.
that coaches those particular teams. And I'm like, well, as a female, I just think I should get a little bit more credit because I have to do everything and
Or some help.
call the
Or
offense
some
as
help.
well.
A little help. Just a little help here, please. Little
Well,
help,
unfortunately, we don't have, we're one of those schools where we don't have the budget to hire
Yeah.
more coaches, and we don't have a a booster
Y'all don't do
club.
volunteer coaches? You don't have like a volunteer
You're not
coaches that
allowed to.
just want
You're
to.
not allowed.
Oh.
You're not allowed to have You have to be on the payroll.
Oh wow! Because like here, you can be about like we've got like some of our basketball coaches
I
or
think
volunteer
that one
coaches. They
time
just
they used to, but I think something must have happened or something. But now they won't allow you to
Mm,
have volleyball. You have
okay,
to be on the payroll in order to do
that's a
that. And then
lot. That's a lot. I
they
mean,
only have a certain amount of budget for coaches on, and so we have one school here in Lexington that always wins. And the reason why they always win is because they're the only school that has a booster club. They raise $25,000 every year, and so they're able to pay 5, 6, 7, 8 more coaches, which makes a difference. They almost have like a
makes a
high
difference.
school staff. Yeah, they
Yeah,
almost have high school. And
yeah.
of course, in high school they have booster clubs, so they're able to hire more coaches.
So they're not. So your middle school is not allowed to have a booster like club,
Yeah, but
or
who's getting ready to do it? Who's getting ready to set it up? Who's getting ready? You know
you're
what I
right.
mean?
You're right. You're right.
We have the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
parents. It's the 80-20 rule. We have the same 5, 6 parents that does everything.
Yeah. I know. I hear you. Because I was the poster mom.
We need 3 people on the chains, and we're scrounging to get three people to do the chains on game day.
Oh wow! I have to say I was blessed. I was blessed in this community here in Suwanee. After my husband passed away, they said, if I didn't know if I was going to stay here or go back to Texas, where we moved from New York, and the kids wanted to graduate with their friends. So I said I'm going to make it work, and the community said if you stay in North Gwinnett cluster and you played sports, I didn't have to pay registration. I had to pay, but I didn't. So that was a help to me because I didn't have to pay because registration was like $500-$600. You know what I'm saying? So I have to get all the other stuff. But for me, because they did stuff like that, I volunteered all the time. I worked at concession stand. I was the poster mom, even though that locker room almost took me out every Thursday night. You know what I'm saying? And you're right. You get to.
And I'm upset because again, all their kids are 8th graders. We won't have them next year. So now I have to,
You got to start over. You got to start
Ray,
recruiting now.
start all over again to recruit to get parents. Yeah, the 80.
So you need the 8th grade moms. You need the 8th grade moms to get the 7th grade moms in and say, okay, you find me the 5, find me the 10. That's gonna be here next year, and they got to start friending them up. You know what I'm saying?
So this is what happened to us this year, and I didn't mean to get on this whole tangent about me. We had a new middle school open, and we lost all of our 6th and 7th graders. So we didn't have a 7th grade team. We had 6 undergrad kids this year, and I think only 3 of them finished the season.
Oh wow!
Of the 6, only 3 finished the season.
And I would think in Lexington it would be so much.
Right now, do not have a team for next season, and we won't find out
yet
until July.
To tryouts. Is that tryouts in July for y'all?
Tryouts are in July. Yeah. So we won't. We have no idea, and that's us every year. We have no idea who's coming, and so when the new school opened, we just knew we were getting ready to lose. And we did. We lost a whole lot of the kids that we should have gotten back because everybody wants to go to the new school.
New stuff. Yeah. New school. And so do they have a team over there too? They got a team.
Yeah, they
over
had
there
a
in
team.
The new school.
And so we beat them. They didn't. But they were young, so they didn't have a good season. But they will be really, really good next year.
Oh yeah,
because all of those young kids are now be able
coming back.
So
and they're coming back.
So they'll have a really good team next year.
Yeah. Dang, y'all.
Dang. So it's always just again, it's just always something, right? And I just feel like we are always having to deal with something like that. And then I'm not even going to talk about the referee issue. Dealing with the officials because it's certain schools in our city that have certain demographics, and then there's other schools that have a different demographic. And when this demographic plays these schools at these demographic, these other they get better calls, and so we've dealt with that firsthand on that. And so I'm not bashing nobody. I ain't talking about nobody.
I try not to be that parent, but I be like, blow the whistle both ways. You gotta blow it both ways. So
it doesn't, and sometimes it just doesn't happen. So Mr. Brown said that having raw athletic ability coupled with knowledge of the game leads to championships. Yes.
Yeah.
Coach said facts. Oh, he just said facts. He said facts.
I didn't get to meet Coach when I met you at Ole Miss because he was still in the stands when we met. But
yeah, we got ice outside. Yes, facts. He said facts. We don't get no calls when we play certain schools. We don't get no calls
because you got to play the team and the refs. You got to play the teams and the refs. It's exhausting when you have to play the refs too. You know what I'm saying?
Exhausting. Yes, it's obvious and it's exhausting. So.
And I feel bad. And I feel bad for the kids. You know what I'm saying? Because they're like, I didn't hold. There wasn't a hold. You go back and watch the film. It's like I didn't do that. And they called it anyway. So yeah.
I mean, we're in the playoffs. The same team, deja vu twice, where we have an opportunity to win the game. They're on the end zone, and they give them a touchdown. Not only did it happen once, it happened again this year too. And we were like, how ironic that it happened.
Right.
Again.
So you got to be up like 5 touchdowns.
So if you're not up, if you're not blowing them out, then you're in trouble.
Yeah. If you make it a close
the only times we've been able to beat this team is when we left no doubt and we blew them out.
You had to blow them out, which is sad that you have to do all of that. You know what I'm saying? And you got to keep everybody, all the starters on the field at that point because he's like, we can't.
And then even and so it went into 4 overtimes. It should have never went into overtime because we should have got at least 2 or 3 offensive interference calls in the end zone. They didn't call them. Of course, they didn't call them. So it's just stuff like that. When you go back and watch the film, you're like, all you could do is just shake
Again,
your head.
you
And then there's
again, all you
nobody
could do is
you
make
can
it
go.
a teachable moment for the kids. You make it a teachable moment for the
That's
kids,
all you can
and you
do
got to let them know that this is life. This is gonna
yes,
happen, whether it's
because
football, whether it's your job.
and
It's a
can't take it
teachable moment.
you can't take it to the governing whatever
Right.
and for them to overturn. They're not going to overturn the calls,
That-
the game, and so you're like, what do you do? So then you just deal with it. Yeah.
yeah, you just
So
have to
I'm
deal
gonna
with
let
it.
you
Like
go.
you have to beat
I
about.
know you've been up late. I'm gonna let you go. Being from the North New York and now living in South, is sports different in that region?
Didn't play any sports while I was in Brooklyn. I moved to Texas when we were 12. My twin sister played basketball. I was the manager, and I took score for the senior basketball team. I was not athletically inclined, but sports in the South is like a thing. It's a thing down here. I mean, people spend money on their children, and I remember that was one of the things I used to tell Jared. I was like, "Look, I don't have all this extra money to send you to trainers to do all the things." I said, when you're at practice, you got to pay attention. And he was like, "Well, coach is picking on me." I said, "Dude, you're over 6 feet tall. If you're kikiing, he's going to see you first. Stop
Right.
kikiing. Because
Yeah.
if you laughing, he gonna see you laughing first." So I said, you got to do everything. You got to pay attention. You got to put 100%, 10% when you're at practice, because there's no extra stuff. You know what I'm saying? We travel
Mhm.
basketball. It was. Yeah, you got to practice. You got to practice. You're a lot of time. You got to practice. You know what I'm saying? Is that the puppy?
Yeah. Hold on. Sorry about that.
It's okay. He's saying hello. He's saying hello. Hello, how you doing?
He's doing
But yeah,
both.
so that's a big thing. I mean, you practice how you play. So I used to always tell Jared that you practice how you play. You can't half-ass in practice and think you're just gonna show up in the games. And a lot of kids think that they don't have to practice. It doesn't get any easier. It gets harder. And please know, once you get to college, they're always recruiting. So you might have been that person in high school.
Oh
You
my
start all the way over. You start
goodness.
all, and like he
That.
started all the way over in the NFL. He started all the way over. So you start all the way over. And every day you should be learning something new. Every day you should be learning something new. So just know that you got to continue learning. You got to continue practicing hard. You just can't just show up just because you think you're just going to show up and, get the touchdown. Man, those wide receivers, their bodies, they put their stuff, with them licks in college and then them licks in the NFL.
Yeah.
And you have to take care of your body, and you got to take care of your body. Because I remember when Jared did that switch, it had to be between his sophomore and junior year. He was like, I got to eat more protein. I was making peanut butter sandwiches so he can eat peanut butter, because sandwiches, in between classes and stuff like that. He was drinking the protein shakes and doing all the things because, he wanted to get bigger and stronger. And everybody is thinking the same thing. Everybody's trying to get bigger and stronger. So you can't. Football is not even basketball, not soft sports. They're just not soft sports. You got to be ready to play. You gotta know the game. You gotta know your plays, all the things. You gotta be coachable. You know what I'm saying? They're teenagers. They're gonna have an attitude. That's just a given. Okay? They're gonna make you roll your eyes at them. But they have to know, look, y'all wanna win? Y'all wanna win? Okay? Everybody gotta play their part. Everybody play their part, I have to say. And what's the one thing I know is about running these gaps. If you ain't running the right gap or something like that, you left your gap open. I'm like, oh Lord, you know what I'm saying? But everybody gotta run, everybody has a job to do. So when you're outside like me, really don't know football plays, and you see the whole play go this way because everybody ran the right route. And I'm like, it's like a dance. It looks
Yeah.
like a dance when you're looking at it. It's like, everybody shift that way. I was like, look at that. I think everybody was running their son.
How about that? Yes. I think that is the route that I want to go. I did my first women's clinic with at the Nationals in Cleveland, and it was so fun. And then the ladies were just talking about just how much differently now they watch the game, because it's
Mm-hmm.
so easy to be a couch coach when you have no idea what's going on. And I think that one of the things that I love, even with James Seta, is going to this clinic so that I can teach more women the game, especially
Mhm.
when they have sons in the game, so that when they're
That part.
watching the game and and I'm looking at you and you're right, you know what? Why did you miss that tackle?
Yep.
You
Yep.
got too much money
Yep.
on the line for you to not be doing your
You
job
gotta wrap.
at this
You
point.
gotta wrap them up. I said, what was all this diving? Also, you can't be
Yeah,
diving. You gotta
hand
wrap them
tackling.
up. These
Yeah,
and
yeah.
these some of these running backs, they thick. They running. You gotta wrap them up. If you're gonna pull them down, you gotta wrap them. And Jared's like, I gotta gain some weight so I can throw my body on him, because I think his senior year in high school he had 20 sacks. So you gotta wrap them up.
But it's different levels, right? But the level at high school, when you get to college, it's a different level. Each level is another level.
It's a
Like
step up. It's a two.
you said,
There's two more, three
it's
more
a step
steps up.
up because everybody is good at each level when you get up to the next
That
level.
part.
Even if you're going
Yes.
from middle school to high school, everybody is
Yes.
good, and you got to bring your game up. But I love that make sure you guys follow Sports Mom University with James Seta, because she's going to give you all the things on NIL. She's going to give you
Yes.
all the things with anything new that's happening with the NCAA and the rule
Yes.
changes. She keeps up with all of that. And so that's who my go-to is. And I always refer all that stuff over to her. That's her lane. My lane is just coaching and evaluation.
Yeah, James Ann is gonna watch the trials as it's happening. She's like, you know,
Yes.
so and so, because you know James. I don't know how she remembers everybody's name, because I can't remember
Yeah,
half
I
yesterday.
don't do
But
all
James
that.
Ann is gonna remember somebody's name. She's like, you know, so and so was there. Now, if you saw so and so was there, y'all got to check for this, because so and so is gonna say. And I'm like, mm-hmm. And lo and
Okay.
behold, she was like, I remember her telling me that about the case, and then making sure, you know, the boys signed up on this link to get this
Absolutely.
money that. And I remember Jared calling me. He was like, mom, can you send me that link again, because so and so didn't. So I said, everybody on that bus need to sign up for that link, because you can't leave money on the table, okay?
Yes.
Because I said to him, I said, did you go online, did you click both links? I said,
And
we still waiting on that check, but when the check come, it's okay. That's just it could be it go to savings, go whatever. But you know, they earn that money. They earn that money, and they should have that money. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
okay, this is my last question. I have Mr. Brown said he has 5 sets of twins in his family. 3 sets are his grandkids, as you are. Do you agree with your twin sister? Twins are unique. Do y'all do a
Yes,
lot of stuff on display?
we're a lot alike, but we're a lot different at the same time. But like when we're watching football, we were talking to the TV. You know, we're both, you know, like So you know, especially in high school, I had my cowbell. I watched the game, and I watched the whole game. Everybody's baby. I'm cheering for everybody's kid, not just my kid. You know what I'm saying? So I'm that mom. I have my little cowbell that I saved from high school. It's all dented and everything. But yes, we're a lot alike. But we're very different. But we're super close. So haven't seen her since I've been back yet. But hopefully I get to see her tomorrow. But we're gonna talk on FaceTime, and I'll be like, girl. And then we work out. Together. So I saw her this morning at 5:00, and I'll see her tomorrow at 5:00 when we work out again. You know, because we are not get fine our program, because we already signed.
That's good. I love it. I love it. So
And at this age, but for women at our age, we have to weight train. We have to weight train. We have to watch what we're eating, you know, and all the things, and drink our water, and getting our rest too. We got to get our rest. So after I get off with you, going to bed.
yeah, I'm going to bed too,
I
because
can
I got to
wake
get
up.
it's just playing in the morning. So listen,
Okay.
thank you so much for coming on, filling us in, letting us be a part of your Super Bowl journey for this past weekend.
That's good.
You know, we was definitely, you know, of course, you know, Jared's always going to be the nephew for the rest of his career and the rest of his life.
Same with your baby. I'll be watching him next year. I will see. I'm coming to South Carolina to come hoorah with y'all, so I can see Grant play too. So I mean, because I remember when I was taller than Grant. I remember when I was
Really?
taller than everybody. Not everybody taller than me. You know, especially when I stand in between both
Well,
boys. I'm like. And
well,
then we could have lunch with Rhonda, have dinner with Rhonda or something while we're there, and we could kiki.
Tell Rhonda to check her instant messages, because I sent her a message like a month ago. So she's probably
I will.
she's gonna be like, "What? don't know how I missed this. And then I tried to call.
She stay busy. She stay busy with Kendall and all because they have to divide and conquer. Yeah.
And I tell you, I love them, and they have probably one of the best stories as far as just their family. Of course, the daughter is probably my favorite, and I think even Grant said that she's probably the most athletic in the family. Is
that and Kendall. I remember when Kendall was a baby. Like Kendall is a senior now. It makes no sense to me at all that baby's a senior now. Okay, I'm feeling some kind of way about that.
Where she ends up committing to, and so I'm definitely going to be looking forward to that. Is there any last thing that you want to say to the parent? Anything you've been wanting to say publicly that you haven't had an opportunity to say? You can go ahead and
to the parents. The more you know, parents, the more you know. Please just educate yourself so you can educate your kids. Because if you don't know, they don't know. You know what I'm saying? And then they get to the age where they want to be kind of grownish, especially on that young college. You know, they're not grown yet. No, he grown now. He's 24. You know what I'm saying? He been through some things. He's been paying his bills for a long time now. But as parents, the more you know. So when you see Coach Terri, when you see James Etta, when you see Coach Bryant having these classes and having these talks, you know, just write questions down, listen, because, you know, we don't want you to make any of the mistakes that we made, you know what I'm saying, or the people before us made, because this climate is so different now from when Jared was in college. It's different, and you have to know the business of football, or else you're going to get left behind. Or yes. So I said, you know, just, you know, always reach out to your resources. James Etta has a good community. Coach Terri has a good community, and you got to just be involved and ask. And it's okay to ask questions. You got to ask questions. If you don't know, you don't know. You know what I'm saying? No question's ever a dumb question. So make sure you're asking the questions. And I'm sure James Etta's going to talk to you. She's going to want you to go to the draft with us, because she's already got me going to the draft in April with her. I got to take some days off work.
In Pittsburgh?
Yes. It's in Pittsburgh, like the end of April. So okay.
I gotta talk him into.
I already tell you, she'll get with you. She'll get with you tomorrow, but she already got me.
We'll talk about it this weekend. When I see her this weekend, we'll talk about it.
Okay, good. All right. Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate you reaching out. You know, I love me some you.
Absolutely, love you too. Coach Bryant says one more thing. You never do what?
Come back.
No, you never come back.
Tell her much love the family, go Hawks.
He said, "Much love, love the family, go Hawks." Normally,
and I appreciate you. Go 49ers. Y'all have a good night, okay?
Absolutely.
Bye.
Thank you, sweetheart. We'll talk to you later.
All right, bye. Okay.
Mr. Brown, I gave the Terri question already. I did. She answered it. Anyway, y'all, I just want y'all to say just thank you, Mr. Brown. Thank you for coming on. And I think so. I will be this weekend. I will be going to Washington, D.C. for a football clinic. And so next week's guest will be one of my female coaches that will be at the clinic. And I can't wait for you guys to see her next year. But anyway, I love y'all. Thank you for the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame for sponsoring us. And we'll see y'all later on. Oh, make sure y'all subscribe on YouTube. Thank you. Bye.